Well, welcome to another live show. Be sure everything's in order, that's working as it should. All right, seems like everything's working. Just a few things I want to go over in this show here. Pretty much give you a rundown of what's going on and what you can be looking for in the next few weeks. First thing I want to talk about is something that somebody has asked. More than one person has asked about this that are interested in starting their own WISP business. How do I know how much speed the client needs? Well, from my experience over since 2020 till now, I have found most of the time, I say probably over 90% of the time, you can pretty much count in as 5 megabits per second download per device they need internet on. They got 3 TVs, it's 15. If they add a laptop, it's another 5. If they add a cell phone, it's another 5. Now, I've tested the phones and stuff, watching videos. It never reaches 5 unless you throw it up to 4K, but the default, if you got it on auto, usually it goes no more than 720 or 1080. In most cases I've seen it's 720. So 5 megs will handle it. Laptops, same thing. And that is if they're using video streaming on them devices. If they're just searching the net, it's not going to use nowhere near that. So the rule of thumb that I use when I set someone up, I ask them how many devices. I used to ask what devices, but now I pretty much ask how many devices they are going to use on the internet at the same time. They may have 3 TVs, one in the bedroom, one in the living room, and one on the outside, but if they're not going to use them all at the same time, then they're not going to use 15 megs. Very rare I see anybody have any TV that is over size of 32 in an RV. I've come across some 40s and I came across a 50. Most TVs 32-inch or smaller is usually 720p is what they make them. There's exception on some brands, but most of them are 720. So with that information that I have seen and used, if they have a 32-inch TV or less, you can bet that 5 megs per second download will work on that TV. I have set up Edge Router X and plugged in a TV that is 720 and streamed videos, and it comes up somewhere between 4 and 5.3 something. But I never had it to buffer. So 5 megs per device as long as they don't have over a 32-inch TV. A lot of people will feel that they need 100 megs to run all their devices because they've been drilled that into their head by some of these other big companies. But they don't understand, they don't do their research. Even to watch 4K video, you can go to Netflix website and see that they say you only need somewhere between 15 and 25 megabits per second download to watch 4K video. You don't need 100, 200, 500, whatever. Even if you got 4 or 5 of them TVs in there, you still only need, if you're simultaneously running them, you only need 100, 125 megs. But very few people have that many 4K videos that is actually going to be streaming. And not a lot of content out there is actually in 4K, even if you got a 4K TV. So, rule of thumb that I go by myself personally is how many devices you got and how big is your TV. If they say, oh, it's a 24, 30, or 32, then I count 5 megs per device, and I have not had any issues whatsoever. I always like to undersell and over deliver. 5 megs per device is a little bit more than what each device needs, like telephones and tablets and laptops. So you're actually giving them a little bit more than what they really need. The video I have up about setting up 2 offices together so they can get their software, QuickBooks, to actually see each other. I do believe I have a bad wire, bad radio, or a bad router that I'm using, Edge Router X. Or it could be the PoE that's feeding it as well, because the data goes through it as well. Because it comes from the network or the internet network that I have there already, and it feeds the Edge Router X to put them on a network of themselves. So it could be the PoE. The problem that I've been having of getting back over there to see which one it is because my transportation has come to a halt. Sad but true. The RAV4 is parked. Not because it's not drivable, it's because I don't want to drive it because of what happened. On the 14th, I do believe it was. Yes, 14th, on Friday, when I was driving back from Nease Ferry, it was roughly 8, somewhere between 8 and 9 o'clock. A deer decided it wanted to be a hitchhiker, but didn't work out that well. But it did damage the side of the car, the part of the wraparound bumper on the front, the passenger door on the front is pushed in. Did not hit hard enough. The deer wasn't even big enough to really make the airbags deploy, anything like that. But it did some damage, and I don't think it would have done much damage if it was actually one of them older cars that was made out of real metal, because everything that got damaged is plastic or whatever they make the doors out of, because it's not metal. Because at one time I got some magnets, a sign, and tried to put on the side of it, slid right off. It would not stick. Didn't even try to stick. So it's not metal. It may be some kind of thick aluminum, but it's you can push in on it. It's almost like real thick plastic. I don't know what it is, or fiberglass. So I got to get that repaired. I've already made the claim when I got home Friday night. I think it was about 9:30, 10 o'clock. I got on my laptop and started making the claim, sending photos, pictures, time, location, all them questions they asked. I didn't know what I had to go through, because as long as I have been driving since 1984, I have never had to make a claim. I've had little damages to my car, like limbs fall on it, something like that, but something just, that I can fix myself with no problem. But an accident of like an animal or somebody else or whatever, I've never had to claim anything on any of my insurance ever since I've been driving. I had two people running back of me, but it was all their fault falling too close. But I myself never made a claim until now. And I'm glad I got full coverage. All I have to do is pay the deductible. I'm going to take it to a repair shop that is in their network, because they said if I take it there, they guarantee the work for as long as I own the car. I'm not planning on getting rid of it. I wish I didn't have, damage to it, but it happens, especially when you live out here in the country and drive at night, which I try not to drive at night out here because I know deer and stuff like that is going to be all over the place, especially this time of year because it's cooler weather. This is the season. They're going to be jumping. Many times I have here at the studio walk down the road, look at the field across the road, and with a flashlight and just see them grazing out in the field. Some with antlers, some little ones. This was a small one. I would say it couldn't be no more than 3 foot, 3.5 foot tall, because the dash cam actually captured all of it. And when it was standing up and where the head hit the vehicle, I measured from the ground there, and it was like almost 3.5 feet. So I say it's 3.5 foot tall because when it's running, it's going to be a little bit lower. So I say 3.5 feet top of its head if it was standing. When it hit the car didn't even shake. All I heard is thump. It's almost like, from my experience of running over a 2x4 in the middle of the road. All you hear is thump, and you feel it in the steering wheel shake a little bit. But the car didn't sway. It just thump. But I didn't hear a thump thump. By the time I saw the head in the lights, not even a second, it hit the car. I couldn't see it running out of the yard of front of the house that it was running from. I don't know if the car behind me that was so close that the headlights made my pupils, whatever, get smaller because of that, because their lights was in my rearview mirror shining my light, shining my eyes. So my pupils would be a lot more closed, and so I couldn't see that well at night. I mean, I could see the road driving, no problem, but something so small moving so fast, I didn't really see it. And I wasn't going but maybe 35, 40 miles per hour. That helped because it wasn't that much of a collision. But my son and I got out there and took everything out of it, the solar and everything. Only things left in the car is the registration in the little slot there on the dash. Took everything else out. And if you want to see that video, it's on the other channel. I'm not putting that kind of video on this channel. I talk about it to let you know that it's on the other channel, but I'm not putting it on this channel. And I'm thinking also putting a video together of the dash cam and put it on that channel as well, so you can actually see it actually as I was driving down the road and saw the deer hit the car. I was hoping this would be my last car and kept it nice and damage free, but that's no longer a thing. I did order another 100 amp hour battery to put into the car when I get it back, to have 200 amp hours. I'm taking out the 10 amp charger and put it in a 30, taking out the 170 watt solar panel out and mount a 300 watt panel on top. After I've been testing it and everything, I do believe that I would get enough sun, since I got a extension cord basically for the solar panel that I can lean it against the car and point it where I want and be able to recharge them batteries. Because usually you charge 10% of whatever the amp hours are. So if you got 100 amp, you charge it at 10%, which is 10 amps. So if I got 200 and I'm charging at 30, that's a little bit extra. But to figure out exactly how much how much internet your clients need, in my scenarios in RV parks and mobile home parks, I have found that 5 megs per device has significantly worked every time. In other scenarios, if you're doing homes, there's more chances you're going to have bigger TVs and more devices that is going to be used, so you will have to give them more. Now, I don't know what these other devices like cameras they put in their houses. Most of them, some of them will be 720, some of them 1080. You have to do your research and figure that out. Pretty much everything in a house you can have it on the internet now, even a refrigerator. I have no clue what kind of internet that takes, or thing that you can take your phone and push a few buttons and see your dog and push a button and it actually feeds the dog while you're at work. I don't know. You just have to figure all that out. But if it's just cell phones, laptops, tablets, and TVs, 32-inch or less, 5 megs per second has worked for me every time. And before I used that method, I tested it here in the studio. I ran Ethernet wire to all TVs, ran it on a Edge Router X, and looked into the Edge Router X in real time, logged into it, and see what kind of megabits per second it actually was using, and done different tests. Threw in my laptop and threw on 4K and see what it runs. See if I can rely on that method, if it will actually be consistent if I use that. And so far it has. So basically the answer to the question that that person asked, I would say 5 megs per second download will be significant enough, unless they got big TVs. I'm going to get back to doing the internet videos as soon as I can get my vehicle back to do so. The vehicle I'll be getting, I have no clue what it will be. I don't know if it's going to be a sedan. I don't know if it's going to be a station wagon. I don't know if it's going to be a SUV or van. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to have racks on top or not. Because if I do an install, I need racks in most or some cases to carry a 10-foot pole, strap it down. Don't know what I'm going to get. In a way, I want to take a break until I get my vehicle back. I'm going to try to make some videos. Like, I got one part that is completely out. I need to go over there. I do believe it's going to be a router. That is something that I could do in the rental car. Take my laptop and take a router and program it. And it's the one that I made not too long ago that I opened up and just power cycled the router, and everything worked. East Ferry, in the last 7-10 days, have had significant amount of power surges and power outages. Last time I went over there, all I had to do is take the PoE out of the Edge Router X, plugged it back in. It's been working ever since. And then I think it was the day that I was installing the router and the two Loco M2s, there was a power outage in the area, and I do believe it locked up because I looked at the data, the log on it, and that's when it did. I didn't know it was out, hardly anybody there, so nobody even called. I got a notification, I reset, and it said it turned back on. I reset the backhaul modem, and it all showed back online, and I saw traffic, didn't think anything else about it. And then I got a notification after, it was on Saturday, it was yesterday, got a notification that the Edge Router X was offline. Nothing I can do. I told somebody to go to turn the breaker off, turn it back on, but nobody's done that. Nothing I can do. I'm not going to drive over there on this with this vehicle until I get it back on the road. I'm just picky about, if it's been damaged. I don't know how severe, if anything's further than just the outside wraps, like the door, I can see that, but anything else that has been damaged, I don't see anything leaking. I'll open the hood. All the tanks are full where they're supposed to be. I don't see any kind of signs of liquid have been running underneath, dripping, whatever. So I don't think it went in and damaged anything in the vehicle itself, except the bumper that wraps around the whole front, the wheel well over the front passenger side, and dented in on the passenger front door. Hopefully it will not stay in the shop long, but either way, I still have a rental, and I'm going to do what I can as the internet that the vehicle will allow me to do. But I got a few things I can go do that will not require racks of carrying poles. I got to go move somebody, but there's no pole involved. It's actually mounted on a tree because pole would not be high enough. So I got to get that one done. I got to go check on that router for the whole site. Hardly anybody is there. Most of them are in the red even before then. Some of them has stopped their payments, so it will actually turn their system off until next summer. There's only maybe a handful of people actually still using it. So I will make all the videos I can until I get my car back. I got to go all the way up to, or go down to the lake and install 4 locations in that park. They have 4 spots now that they consider and classified as temporary. Like if somebody wants to come in for 2 or 3 days, just passing through, and they just want to stop somewhere and get a spot so they can rest for 2 or 3 days. That's what they use that for. So I got to get something over there for them to have internet. But I have to have racks to carry the 4 poles. I got all the equipment, the router and boxes and all that, but I just can't carry the poles. So that will be determined if I can do that or not, and according to what vehicle they have available for me to get. But like I said, I really want to take a break because I've been going and going and going. So this is an opportunity for me to just take it easy a little bit and do the minor little things around here to keep everybody going. Pretty much do repairs of any, and installs pretty much put them in halt until I get my vehicle back. But that's basically all I really have that I want to talk about, is just pretty much answering a question that somebody had. How much megabits per second does people need? Pretty much 5 megabits per second per device is my experience. And I don't see where that would not work, regardless how big, or if it's feeding homes or RVs or mobile home parks. Now, mobile home park is not a like a home structure. It's mobile home, but that's where people live 24/7. It's not like RV parks, you're there for a season. And I see that that scenario of 5 megs per second works in either environment. Like I said, if anybody has over a 32-inch TV, then you may have to calculate in a little bit more. But if you want to see the video of the damage that's done to the car, and I'm going to try to record all I can about the car, going to get the rental and all the process that I have to go through that. Pretty much take you through the journey of going through getting the damage fixed. You'll see the damage of the car. You see the video dash cam of me driving down the road where the deer hits. But all that will be on the other channel. But if you got any questions, just leave it in the comments. I read each and every one of them. I was thinking not to do this tonight because after, the damage to the car and all, something that's really precious to me, it kind of get kind of emotional about it, because it's just, you can do everything you're supposed to do and all, and things still happen. But that's just part of driving out in the country. But I will be putting up, hopefully, if tomorrow's Monday, hopefully I can get the car there. I told them I'd try to be there between 10 and 11 in the morning. I'll be calling Enterprise Rental once I get there, tell them that I have arrived, and they'll come pick me up, as what they said out. They'll not bring a car for me. They'll come pick me up, take me back to their office and do all the paperwork. And then I should be ready to go. So I should have a vehicle sometime tomorrow. And then I can plan out what I got to go do. I got one I'm going to go do first will be get the whole park back online. Hopefully it's just the Edge Router X. I don't know if I want to replace it or just power cycle it, because we've been having power surges and I haven't really had any issues with that particular park unless they have power outages or power surges. So I'll decide what I'm going to do when I get there. I'm going to take a router with me. I may just change it just because I can, and see if that makes the lockups, outages disappear. And if it keeps doing it, that means it was not the router. It's just because it's locking up because of the power surges. That happens. But that's all you can do. I mean, you can unplug it and plug it back in. It works. Then you don't know exactly what the problem is. And the box is not big enough to put a backup on it. I would have to put a humongous box up there to put a backup in it to keep it from power surging and stuff. But if it keeps doing it, they have a bad electrical system in that area. So it's something that I may have to invest to put a bigger box and put some kind of battery backup in it. But look for the videos. I'm going to try and make all I can. As I said in my previous video, the main introduction video here on the channel, I'll be live on Sundays, upload on Wednesday, upload on Friday here on this channel. So thanks for everybody that has come by and watched. Thanks for everybody that came by after the live show and watched. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the shares. And thanks for all the subscribers. And I will see you in the next video.